In this lesson, we look at support and movement in plants, and specifically the flowering plants. Plants do not show locomotion, but they do show irritability movements such as tropism and nastic responses. However, just like animals, plants, and especially the terrestrial ones, need a support framework for the following reasons. Here we have two plants here. These plants do need a support framework. One of the reasons why they need support is that it offers a mechanical support so that the leaves are well spread and arranged in a particular manner to enhance absorption of carbon dioxide and light. So this exposure of the leaves comes about as a result of the support within the plant body. A second reason why they need support is that it enables the plant to withstand the force of gravity and wind. Hence, this will help them to resist breakages due to their own weight and also that of other organisms that live on them. So say small insects or even birds may come landing on the plants. Now, to support the plant's own weight and even that of the animals on them, they need a framework of support. A third reason why support is necessary is that it supports the flowers to ensure that they are exposed to pollinating agents such as wind and insects. Fourth reason, support exposes the fruits, in this case, and the seeds to agents of dispersal. Just like flowers, even fruits and seeds require dispersal, so they must be exposed to the agents of dispersal. So those are the main reasons why plants do require support. First is to expose the leaves for maximum absorption of sunlight and carbon dioxide. Two, to enable them withstand the force of gravity and wind, and also support their own weight and of other organisms that may be on them. Three, to support the flowers so that they're best exposed to the agents of pollination. And four, to support the fruits and seeds so that they're best exposed to the agents of dispersal. Now, plants obtain mechanical support in three ways. There are a number of ways, not limited to three, through which plants maintain or obtain mechanical support. So we have various support structures in plants. The first one includes turgidity of the cells, especially parenchyma cells. Now, parenchyma cells are large cells that are undifferentiated. As you can see here, this is in transverse section and in longitudinal section. They are roughly spherical and can also be elongated, and they have thin cell wall. They fill the spaces between other tissues in the stems and the root, where they form the major component of the cortex and the pith. When these cells are turgid, they become tightly packed and rigid, thus providing support, enabling the plant to attain an erect posture. So whether it is the stem or the leaves, it is the turgidity of the cells that provide the support to enable the plant parts, organs, to carry out their function. So parenchyma cells, when turgid, provide mechanical support in plants. Other structures that provide mechanical support are, we have the specialized strengthening tissues. Specialized strengthening tissues such as the xylem, both vessels and tracheids. The xylem consists of elongated and non-living hollow elements. Vessels and tracheids are non-living. Their walls are heavily lignified. So their walls are thickened and heavily lignified, strengthened by lignin material. These side walls that are lignified provide mechanical support to the plant. Xylem are found within the vascular bundles, where they play an important role in providing mechanical support. Other specialized strengthening tissues are the collenchyma. You can see these are the collenchyma cells in both transverse section and longitudinal section. They are elongated cells. The walls are unevenly thickened by deposition of additional cellulose and pectin, hence strengthened for support. You can see the walls, the primary cell walls are additionally thickened with cellulose. So this thickening is what provides support. Collenchyma cells are living. They are living cells, unlike the xylem. These are living cells located usually beneath the epidermis, where they provide mechanical support. So they're mainly found in the stem, just beneath the epidermis. They're also found at the tips of young stem, in the midrib of leaves, and for most plants just beneath the epidermis of the stem. A third mechanical or strengthening tissue is the sclerenchyma. You can see the sclerenchyma in transverse section and longitudinal section. The sclerenchyma tissue is composed of the long tapering cells with heavily lignified walls to form woody fibers. So the walls are heavily lignified, and because of this heavy lignification, at maturity the cells lose their protoplasm and they are thus dead. So this is longitudinal section. You can see the cells are long. The inside is hollow. There's a hollow lumen, and the walls are thick because of the heavy lignification. Sclerenchyma fibers are found just outside the phloem tissue of the vascular bundle, where they add mechanical strength to the stem. Now, these mechanical tissues are distributed in specific ways in monocot and dicot stems. So if you look at the distribution of the mechanical tissues just mentioned, you can see that they follow a characteristic pattern. In the monocot stem, the vascular bundle, that's where we have the xylem. The vascular bundles are scattered, and then in between we have the parenchyma cells. These are the parenchyma cells that, when turgid, provide mechanical support. Some monocots may have the collenchyma beneath the epidermis, but not all. So you have the epidermis is the outermost layer. So beneath it you may have the collenchyma. While in the dicot stem, you have the epidermis, then beneath it is the collenchyma, then the vascular bundles consisting of the phloem and the xylem. To the outside of the phloem there is the sclerenchyma. Then you have the parenchyma cells making up the pith at the center, and the cortex just outside the vascular bundle. So both monocots and dicots do have the mechanical tissues, but the distribution vary. Now, we also have a third category of support structures and organs. So we've looked at we have the turgid parenchyma cells, then they have the specialized mechanical tissues, namely the xylem, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Now we have a third type of specialized support structures and organs. These are tendrils. Now tendrils are modified, either modified stem or leaf. Tendrils are slender structures that are modified in such a way that they are able to coil themselves around another plant or another object for support. So we have stem tendrils, those that are modified from a branch of a stem, or leaf tendrils, which are modified leaves. So instead of the section developing to be a normal leaf, it becomes slender and elongated to become a tendril. Or instead of developing into a branch, it is modified and becomes a tendril for support. Then you have the coiling stems, known as the twines or vines, that coil around another plant or another object for support. We also have modified roots. Various types of roots that are modified to provide additional support, like prop roots, for example in the maize, stilt roots in the mangrove plant, and the buttress roots in a number of large trees. So these modified roots are specialized to provide additional support to the plant. Now, there are two types of plants, or rather plants are grouped into two depending on their main support structures. Okay. Depending on the main mode of support, we have two types of plants: herbaceous plants and the woody plants. Now, herbaceous plants, also known as the non-woody plants, are small plants that do not grow very tall. The main reason is that they derive their mechanical support mainly from 1. Turgidity of the parenchyma tissues, 2. Primary xylem, 3. Collenchyma, and 4. Sclerenchyma. So the herbaceous plants mainly depend on the turgidity of the parenchyma cells for support. Most of them may lack the collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So their main source of support is the turgidity of the parenchyma cells. During periods of water shortage, the parenchyma cells may lose turgidity as a result of water loss, leading to wilting. So here we have the same plant. Here, this when the tissues are turgid, but as a result of excessive water loss, this plant loses support. So wilting comes about in herbaceous plants when they lose water excessively and the support that is derived from the turgid cells is lost. So the stem droops and the leaves fold. Then the other category of plants are the woody plants. The woody plants such as, for example, a mango tree. So these are the shrubs and the trees. They mainly derive their mechanical support from the secondary xylem, which is heavily lignified. You can see here in a cross section of the stem, there is the wood. This is the outer sapwood is a younger wood, while the heartwood is the older, stronger, more lignified and non-conducting wood. So the heavy lignification of the secondary xylem provides great mechanical support. So woody plants, as the name suggests, have heavily lignified secondary xylem, that is known as wood, as the main source of mechanical support. In addition, they derive support from collenchyma and sclerenchyma, especially in the young stems. Now, because they don't rely on the turgidity of their cells as the main source of support, woody plants do not wilt. They do not wilt. However, the young stems of the woody plants may be prone to wilting since they are yet to form the mechanical tissues such as the secondary xylem, and thus they depend on the turgidity of the parenchyma cells. But the older parts of the plant, which are the main part, do not wilt because they have developed the specialized mechanical tissues such as the secondary xylem for support.